A good Erev Shabbos, everybody. This Seder is really talking to the Kohanim, and this is a special thing that probably all the mitzvahs more or less compared to the Kohanim and stuff. So we'll go along with them. He starts off, Emor v'amarta. Vayomer Hashem u'Moshe, Emor ha'kohenim v'Aהרן, v'amarta aleihem, which means exactly the same thing, really. But the Gemara learns from here that Yimaz ha'ktanim al ha'gedolim, that you have to take care of the kids too. Not only the gedolim, but you have to make sure kids don't do averos also. So, Shiva learned Pshat. How do you see that here? Both tzivuim are to the gedolim. Emor v'amarta aleihem. He's talking to the same people. So he says, well, the fact that you're saying it double, that means that be extra careful. The extra careful means that you have to hit us. The kids are going to learn from the extra careful and the things like that. Like I do something like this, no one thing. You see, like by Freya, they go to Yiska. Why do they go to Yiska for? Because they remember their father kept always in the middle of nowhere. We got to go to Yiska. I mean, this thing on earth. What you got to go anywhere for? But obviously they took care of it. So that's what they do this for. Okay? And he tells the first thing is he can't be metame. But we have a very interesting din by a choisab sula. It's interesting. We have later on by the Indian of a woman that marries a Yisrael. Thank you. A Kohenis that marries a Yisrael, so she loses the Truma, and if she has kids, she doesn't even go back to her father. She never even goes. She doesn't have kids. When she gets divorced, or she becomes Almona, she can go back to the father. No, that seems to be a deal on the father. You have to support him so you can support it from your food. You don't have to support them, you get special food for them and stuff like that. So whatever you eat, that's what you got to support them from. Once a Kohenis gets married, even to a Kohen, her brothers can't be metamatar anymore. So now you know how you get metz mitzvahs. You always think about how do you have a metz mitzvah in Klal Yisrael? It don't make any sense. Everybody got relatives. Everybody got what he calls. But usually a bas Kohen, like if so her brothers can't do it anymore. The father can, but she has no father. She lost the father. Right? Her children can if she has children, but if she don't have. So just the brothers. And there's no other chiyuv on to do it. Who's going to do it for her? So therefore, she all of a sudden we got a metz mitzvah. So we have all the brothers who couldn't do it before as her sister. They'll do it as a metz mitzvah. But that's how they get metz mitzvahs. No one can be mishamish with them. Okay, they have special dinim which are repeated. Dinim in kahuna. Not this thing they know. You're not allowed to do tattoos by anybody. But Kohen's got a special love that he can't do it. Okay. Then they have who they're allowed to marry. We'll talk about that with this. Okay. And the Indian that there's only two sreifas that we know. It's very interesting that the chomor of it, you have to understand, because we don't know the chomer of an esse, because an esse is an esse, whatever it is. We don't know which is a bigger one or smaller one. But Lavan, they say we do know. How do we know? By the amount of einish that comes through it. So that means a skila is more chomer than a schreifa. And the schreifa is more chomer than a hereg. And hereg is more chomer than a chenek. And the chenek is more chomer than chorus. And chorus is more chomer than whatever. And go down the line like that. So you know, so you have to understand why there's certain things. You know, it can all be misa, but one is more chomer. What is more chomer? Like, I'll give you, for instance, if you ask some a guy in the street, what's more important, Shabbos or Ritzicha? They'll tell you Ritzicha, right? But it's not so. Shabbos is skill, and skill Ritzicha is only herek. So, like, why? How's that work? I mean, you're so cheap up people's lives. That's not the case of what we're talking about. And the same thing goes when you're dealing with Gimel, that Yagva Yavot. You have three different dinim there, but one, Avedizor is skila, murder is hereg, and taiv is chenek. So you have, why is it that thing, yet is din of Yagva Yavot, that's equal. That's so bad, at the same time, even though it's so bad, the punishment is less. So you have to understand these things. So here the two schreifas we have is a guy that does Cha'isha v'Emor is one schreifa, and the other one is Vasish Koyin. That she's Seichel that she's Chayiv schreifa also. In other words, that extra bezoyin of that she's Mevazeh the Kahuna, or something like that, brings it to a mis of schreifa. Now, I'm going to tell you a thing that I believe this is 100% emes. Okay. A kohen HaGadol me'achov, right? So first of all, he has a din, whatever, you're not allowed to be a novel, but he tells you, v'hu isha b'psuel yikach. It's a machlekes between I think it's a lot of marry katana. But normally, a naira, at least everybody holds he has to marry at least some. You can't marry a girl that's a bagros. A bagros is 12 and a half years old. Now, when does a guy become a kohen gadol usually? Say 100 years old. Now we know within the man. That's what's the lotion of the Tzvia. Yeah. It includes 3 averas, and one of them is marrying an old man to a young girl, or marrying an old lady to a young boy. Why? Because the taivas are different. And since the taivas are different, and that's a terrible thing. So it's a special issue. And here the Torah tells you, marry the kohen gadol to a psula, which is a naira, which is don't make any sense. So I want to tell you, what's the time that you don't marry? Because it says the Yitzhahorus are not going to be the same. It's not because he's going to outlive her or something like that. That we're not worried about. First of all, you can get married a second time. And even if you don't get married a second time, that's up to you. But it has nothing to do with the ability to get married. So therefore, what the kohen becomes useful, not become just useful to kohen gadol, becomes mamish the strongest. It says by a melech has to be kohen gadol has to be 5 times and 5 things bigger than all the other kohanim. He's got to be richer, stronger, taller, handsomer, and smarter. Right? So he's got to be all these things. How do you pick out a guy like that? He's usually the smartest guy is usually an old man, right? The handsomest guy is a young or whatever, who knows what. The strongest guy is who knows, someone in the middle there, and there's something over there. So what happens? The Kohen actually changes. You actually change. And automatically, you say it's a nest and stuff like that, it's not a nest, if I say. I forgot the name of the disease. It's a disease of the pituitary gland. And that makes the things grow when it's not supposed to grow, right? So the eventual activates your pituitary gland again, and wherever he gets whatever position he wants, he does. I know of a case where a guy was a handsome man, and he got married, and he got this disease, and it changed the formation of the jaw. He became an ugly man because of it. What do you call it? The fact that he, Baruch Hashem, is married, but I'm just saying, but he became a different person completely as far as the tzuri goes. And it's a normal thing. It's not something that, crazy thing. So there, the only one thing that the Echav HaKoyanim do for him is to make him richer. In other words, the richest, everybody has this, all the Kohen have to chip in that he should become a richer Kohen. The other things are all up to God. There's nothing you can do for him. I mean, his body's got to form different ways and stuff like that. And the same thing applies to a melech. So because of that, I learned different than Rashi, and God, we found the Seforim that learned like me, that what's the Ma'aseh is by Shol HaMelech, when by Goliath.
The Midrash on the 6th Parsha.
Huh?
The Midrash on the 6th Parsha references.
Yeah, I do, in the thing, in the Parsha. Okay, so it's in the book. So, but the Goliath, the thing there, so Shaul wanted to give him his armor. Put it on him, was too small, whatever it is. He was a small guy. Shaul HaMelech was everybody taller than him. Mashiach L'mayla. He was the tallest guy in the thing there. So when he looked at David HaMelech originally, David HaMelech is not a competitor to him. So it says yet when he put on the Klei Zayin, all of a sudden he started to worry about it. So Rashi learns the Klei Zayin's shrunk. Shrunk. If it shrunk, surely he shouldn't have to worry about him. He's a peanut. I'm not going to blow him over. What do I got to worry about him for? So I learned Pshat is that he grew into the armor, David HaMelech. That was the time when already David HaMelech became, that he could be Melech. So therefore now he can be Melech. It's his tallest show. It's his biggest show. The thing over there. Now what happened? They both exactly the same size? Don't know. I didn't get involved. I don't know. No. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have a talk about the Beishim's not a bigot, right? Yet, we have different laws for different people. I showed that even by men and women, he's not a bigot. And the thing over there, a lot of them saying, Afroi, what's Afroi? She got less mitzvahs, but he said, Isha. All these type of things, and we say, yeah. But Lamaisa, the Ben Shalom is not a man or a woman, and therefore he made men and women because the world needs men and women. So there's no chesed one over the other. One has more mitzvahs, that's a different thing. I want to get more schar, I want to get that. But Isha is a bracha. For why I'm making it, but it has nothing to do with being superior to the woman. And let's see, I had a couple of them I used to look and learn. One of them I can think of right now. The other one I don't know what was the thing there. It was a big one. Like Parana Gemara that says there that the world needs men and women, right? But Afshrei Misha Bon of Seforim. That's a pretty big statement as far as I'm concerned, right? So he's saying the Afshrei Misha Bon of Seforim. So son, you're looking at it the wrong way. The pshat is like this. You have a daughter, right? She gets married. She moves out of town. And she becomes a big lady there. And the guy comes back to you and he tells you, I was in this town, out of town, and I met this lady, and wow, what she is this, she's a doll, she's this, whatever you want to tell me about her. Right? He says, that's my daughter. Really, it's your daughter? Why? Because she has a different second name than I have, right? But what happened if I'd have a son living out of town? Right? They say, the guy who saw somebody say, do you have any sons living out of town over there? Right? So you have a faster nachas from a son than from a daughter. That's all it is. That's what I mean. For yourself, you're a lucky guy if you have sons. They have nothing to do with the sons being better or worse than the girls. You can learn all the things. I just got offhand. I just don't remember another case, but yeah. Remember, this was I think I don't know if this one will be in the book. Why is a woman potter from Aedis? Or it's apostle Aedis? That seems to be a big insult. I mean, you can't tell the truth. What are we choshech ladies for? You can't tell the truth. You can't say that's the point, because when you make for kashrus, we trust them. We trust them, I'm afraid, for that. So how can you tell me that they're not trustworthy? They're trustworthy. So what is it that I'm choshech for? But the problem is a woman has a bina yisera. So when this is negeya, when you ask something of somebody, if he's, I don't want to say, probably if you're a therapist, something about somebody, right? He'll give you his shittas in therapy, why he holds what he holds. In other words, he has a bina yisera. He's guilty. How do you know he's guilty? Well, I saw him sneaking down the street the other day. So if he's sneaking, that's the thing there. That I find is a guy also is called a poisel b'mumay poisel. What does it mean to be called poisel b'mumay poisel? Whatever he considers the biggest insult. So when he wants to hurt someone, he's going to say the same thing. But the truth is, it means even more than that. When I see, let's say, a nosy body, so I see, we walked into the Rebbe's house, let's say, Talmidim, and you'll find one guy goes into all the drawers. What are you looking in the drawers for? I'm curious, right? Am I choshech you're going to be a street thief? No. What happened if I would never touch anybody else's stuff, except if I wanted to steal it. So as soon as I see a guy looking in the drawer, I say, the guy's the gunner, right? Because I touch it up the way what I am. And the thing is there. It's not a point to that. So a lot of times it's like that. So a woman, because she has the bina yisera, so she has a way of looking at it. She sees different things when she sees it. And we're only interested in facts. We're not interested in your thinking what happened. We're not interested in circumstantial evidence. We're interested in facts, and facts you don't have. And therefore, the apostle Aedis. Why to it? Jonas, I'm not going to get involved, but I guess it's the same thing probably. Yeah, so anyway, so it brings down here about Balimumin. So like we want perfection. Right? That seems to be the tiny, You can't bring non-perfection to the Rebbeinu Shalom, to do avodah by the Rebbeinu Shalom. Why? Because it's like, it's a chson in covet, right? but you're making fun of cripples then. I mean, a shalom don't bother you, and all of a sudden you need perfection. What I mean, when we call guys about mum, not everybody's a cripple or a blind guy or this or that. Yeah, but we're about blind mum is in height compared to width and all this stuff. Is also a mum. Now, the guy is supposed to be as tall as his arms are like this. If he isn't, he's a Baal Mum. If the eyes and the nose plate and the ear are not the same size, he's a Baal Mum. And the thing over there, what do you mean he's a Baal Mum? I mean, the guy's pretty good, normal. I mean, and the thing there, what's wrong with him? Right? He's a Baal Mum. So why is God want Dafka perfect? Just Dafka guys who look perfect. They can't be just a little off. That's not pshat. The Beisham didn't make Israel be able to eat chumer, do korbanos and stuff like that. Somehow we don't walk around saying God's unfair to Israel. I mean, there's whatever it is there. There's a kedusha to kahana. And for whatever reason, we're puzzled. We want to because we didn't stand up for the ego. It doesn't make a difference why we're puzzled, but we're puzzled. About mum, what happens to Beisham for whatever reason wants to puzzle the person, but not necessarily zari. Or you want to puzzle the person from the hakrove, but not from eating. So he made him about mum. For whatever it is this. So Fakert is so better than Yisrael. Yisrael can't get anything. Doesn't make a difference. But he's better. So it's not a discrimination. It's just somehow on the person, for whatever reason, the Beisham wants the person not to be able to bring korbanos. So he makes him a Baal Mum. Stuff like that. Yeah. I think to understand an Evid, I think to a tremendous amount the Civil War has affected our concept of avodim. In other words, what is it? It's a guy, a dumb guy, right? Who's out in the fields and he gets beaten up by the whip all the time and stuff like that. And that's what an evidence is. And the truth is, it says the Ma'ba Avodim, it's Ma'ba Gezel, Ma'ba whatever it is, the Ma'ba Shvachis is Kshofim, whatever it is, they do come from a background different than yours. Thing there. But what's the relationship to you? So we find that the deist of a shifre knows everything about her boss, or the one that she's the shifre to, the maid. Now, the maid of the queen knows everything about the queen. Anything you can possibly know about the queen. Now, could be you say, well, she sees more, she helps dress, she does this. Okay, that's one thing. But does she talk to the queen? The queen is not embarrassed in front of her. And whatever it is, the woman is not mevuzim from her shifra to be mazana and stuff like that. Now, which I don't know what the alter ego is exactly, but meaning she is the balabasta. You're part of me. Now with Sarah, when she gave over Hagar to it was not even a bezoyan to her. The whole thing, she is me. It's nothing. She belongs to me. You're gonna have a different relationship with her. That's when she thought you're treating her like a wife. That I was angry at. Treating her like a shifra, that didn't bother her, because that's me. In other words, because I own her. I own that whole concept of I own the thing there. But because of that, there are dinim that you even have to sit shiva on an Eved. In other words, he's your brother, he's your son, he's your somebody. You're responsible for him. What do you mean sit shiva? Yeah. If you see that Gamliel said shiva for Tevi Avoy. It's not that. What was the excuse? Not that Pshat is he's an Eved. He says he's like Shar Avodim Ela Kosher Hoya. Right? But the other Avodim, the only reason I'm not sitting shiva for them is because they're not kosherim. They're treif. So for treif for guys, I don't sit shiva even for family members, Meradin. As the guy's Machal Shabbos, you don't sit shiva for them and stuff like that there. But people don't understand it, so you sit shiva for him anyway. You don't do aninis for him. That's the problem. That's where the shilas come in. He's my brother, so I got to say aninis. No. Anointing, you put the for mitzvahs. Put the for mitzvahs, you're not put it to be anointed for Machal Shabbos that you don't have to do aninis for. I have to do aninis for him, so then I'm what do you call it? I'm not allowed to do the mitzvah. But availus, big deal. You want to sit on the floor, sit on the floor. You don't want to walk out of the house, don't walk out of the house. You want to rip your clothes, rip your clothes. You didn't do anything that's bad. So therefore you can sit there. You'll see rip your clothes about tashlis. That's how I'll figure out maybe you have to wear ripped clothes. I don't know whatever this is.
And you can learn? You can learn?
Probably can learn, yeah. That's no din avelis. But everybody sits on the fire, your mother and the fire, father. They all sit. Everybody says, every Baal Tshuva sits. Why does he sit? Because they're still friendly with the parents. So what are you going to tell them? Don't have shaykhs with your parents. So what are you talking about? They helped me out through all of the things I had there. Remember there was a mice in Baltimore. There were two guys who were begaya, two sons. And the mother held them out in Koilo. The mother was shiksa. So they used to say to her, why don't you become a Jew? She says, if I can't become that, who's going to take care of you guys? So I got to be a goya, stuff like that. And stuff. And in the end, I think she was Megaya. But Kolzman, they were what she needs, so I'm willing to be on the sideline. But that doesn't have anything to do with whatever makes. So with such a person, I wouldn't want to be shaykhs with. Of course, and that's a goy. But you're not even allowed to have shaykhs with. Yeah. So the zera, what passes a kohen, and bas kohen, meaning to truma, the fact she has children from her Yisrael husband. So so she has kids that are possible for kahuna, so automatically she's possible for kahuna. That seems to be the lesson. Okay. So let's see what we'll talk about that. Okay. Not at the moment. It's a good point to talk about, but I don't know if it's really from here. Anyway, we know the mice, you're not allowed to be makir bal mum. COVID is about mum. A behemoth got something wrong with it. We know the mice are kamsa bar kamsa, that what did bar kamsa do? He made something with the eye, which became a Baal Mum for Yisrael, but the Goyim did not treat it as a Baal Mum, and therefore, because of that, he brought the guns and came to Chum. Okay? How do you get that? How does that happen? And so what they wanted to do, so they wanted to first... they wanted to kill him, or they wanted to, what to say, what's his name, the one that, from Yechon, then, that he kept slugging up all the reasons, and the thing over there, he was the biggest, and he pretended to be the smallest. He was a non-of, so therefore he always answered first, so everybody couldn't answer after him. So got into business over there. But also to bring the Churban about. Otherwise, you want the Churban, you want the Churban. You don't have to give no case of kindness over there, what the nation wanted. But the idea was that they were willing to, they were willing to kill about a guy who wanted to bring about Mum. So you have a Gemara. What's... Gemara's like this: two brothers, they ran up to do I think the first thing, the first pipe, the what do you call it? Chumash Shiur. They want to run up there, and one killed the other one, and the father's there too. Of course, the whole base is there, right? And the father's looking at it. He sees one son kill the other son, right? What should be in such a case? I mean, I don't have no either. Everyone can even imagine such a thing. Bang your head against the wall. What do you mean? What are you supposed to do? But you're definitely not thinking clear, straight, right? You're definitely at a tumult of mensch, or whatever it is. One kid killed the other kid, and he screamed, and he walks over to the son that's dying. And he sees he's still moving. He says, "Adai mefacheses." He's still moving. The kelim are not tomei yet. Take away the kelim. And the Gemara goes into a whole discussion: was tzich kal or tumas kelim chomer? Now we know tumas kelim is also mitzvah the kedim. Guys with Talmud Kelim and stuff like that, it's Kanoim Poigenboy and the whole business like that. So it's not a portion of Maisa, but Lamaisa, what's the comparison? And one's murder, one is about Kelim, became Tommy, so became Tommy, big deal. Right? So the time is that what you see, what's normal, let's put it that way, what's normal, we don't bother talking about. Did anyone ever tell his kid not to kill anybody? I don't think so, right? You can't hate anybody, you got to give him something, you're not allowed to fight, this you too. You ever tell him you're not allowed to kill anybody? My kid don't kill. My kid's not going to kill. It's poshut. He understands you can't kill. Whatever it is, whatever excuse you're going to give. But we don't talk about those averas. Because of that, what stands out in the person's mind, what we do talk about. And what do we talk about? Don't be mitamel l'kelim. Don't be mitamel l'kelim. Don't be mitamel l'kelim. So the first thing that's in a person's mind is don't be mitamel l'kelim. Now there was a joke, a Russian joke like that. Guy walked into the mikveh, and the woman screams, "I have nothing on my head." And I said that I understood from that, this is going back to the 60s. What was in the 60s? The 60s was when the miniskirt first came out. Then disappeared again, then came out again, like you're saying, they're real stark. But it was that time just above the knees. Nothing, not what we call a miniskirt like now. You know. And the finest woman did it. Why? Because they would wear their arms still here, and their things were uncovered. Why? Because the knees are not said anything. No one ever talked about covering the knees. It was a love of Parshas. The judge would never have a top, have me ever uncover the sheikh. He'll never have such a havam in it. So never ever spoke about it. About your arms and stuff like that you spoke about all the time. So therefore, everybody knew about that. And that would be the same idea as I have nothing on the head. The rest of the stuff I don't have to talk to you about. That's Parshas. But with Parshas, if you don't have chatzor on it, you forget about it. It's not you forget it, but doesn't stand the number one thing in your mind. Whatever you nudge, that's what stands out in your mind. So they were able to dress like that and a thing like that until they come out of socials, this and that. But it took a long time. Wasn't Parshas. The beginning of it was very, everybody was doing that, but the arms and the things and necks, this was no havam in it. Yeah. What do you have to do to come with Bar Mitzvah? I don't remember what the Sherry said. Okay. Anyway, it says the decree of Yontif, Davi Shem Meishel Emor, Davi Bnei Yisrael v'mart alei Moyadei Hashem asher tikrivu tikru Yisrael Moikroi Kodesh ad Elahei Moyadoi, Toma Yontif, Sheisis Yom Tas Malacha, to work for 6 days, Shabbos. Then it talks about Moyadei Hashem, he's talking about Shikois Moyadom, whatever it is, like Pesach, Shavuos, all the other Yekopodis in the middle. The kasha is what Shabbos got to do with Yontif. So, if you want to knock yourself out, and the talk about my own Torahs years ago, was that just like the Rebbeinu Shalom is the Bayrei, he is the Manhig, and therefore both points are together really, and we have one on Imamin for Bayrei and Manhig, even though Bayrei and Manhig are two different things. And the thing there, what the Bayrei does is not the Manhig is not the Bayrei, but the Maisa, the Rebbeinu Shalom made the world that he was Bayrei in a way that he could be the Manhig. Okay, so therefore it's one thing. The Goyen says a different thing. And I say, sometimes you can see, I don't know what the word is, you can see emes somehow. Like stuff like that. Like, and how come he was the one that thought of it, nobody else thought of it? Or at least we don't, maybe everybody thought about it, but nobody wrote it down. But anyway, he was the guy that had it written down. What's he say? It says, no, it has nothing to do with Shabbos at all. We're talking about Yontif. Sheisis Yom and Tatzimach, the Mocha, Rosh Hashanah, 2 days Sukkot, 2 days Pesach, and Shavuos, 6 days. But Yom HaKippurim is Shabbos Shabbos. So of the 7 days of Yontif, 6 of them you can do Malacha, and 1 you can't. So once you say that, you don't even have a havmini, you're talking about Shabbos anymore. I mean, it's so right, whatever it is. Okay, I mean, I'm just, at least me, my mind. They have sometimes you can say something like that. So that's what he says, this pshat here. And that's a big zach. Okay. Now, Emor is bringing in all the korbanos. They're not musafim. They have reasons for them, but they're not the musafim. The musafim are all in Pinchas. And here they're taking the ones that, besides the ones in Pinchas, you have sometimes other korbanos that you got to bring. And that comes in Emor. Okay. So he just tells you when there's nothing more, just says Vikrafte Misha, like however, that's very short. That's all you think there. But when he needs arichus, okay, so then you have the Emor, which is what he called the next one, the korbanos of the Emor, and then you got Shavuos, okay. Right? And then you have a funny thing. In the Parsha of Shavuos comes a pasuk, it says, Ubikutzchem z'ktzir artzachem matnas aniyim. The last pasuk, right before Chamishi. Rashi brings down a Seforim that different than it actually says in the Seforim. The Seforim's Gilsa is if a person, the reason that matnas aniyim is the middle of the korbanos hachag is to tell you that if a guy goes and brings a korban and gives matnas aniyim, so it's as if he brought, the Beis Hamikdash is standing, and he brought the korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, that's the Seforim. Rashi says a different thing here. It says the guy who does keroyu, who gives matnas aniyim keroyu, what is it? Is as if he went and built the Beis Hamikdash and brought korbanos. Now, built the Beis Hamikdash is a new thing. I mean, we can be up to the madrega of being able to bring korbanos, but we're not madrega of being building the Beis Hamikdash. The Hamikdash standing is aggressive, makes it. So, who says about? But he's saying if you do keroyu, it's if you. I think the word keroyu is the big difference. The word keroyu is not in the Seforim. That's only in Rashi. The question is where you'll say, where did Rashi get it from? That I can't answer you. But Rashi is saying this. What is the matnas aniyim keroyu? So you have two Gemaras in Bab Metzia. Right? We have one is that's enough Yud. It's the Lamis B'Shus Chaveirei. And what's Yud Aleph? Yud Aleph is we went out Chotzel from Shikra. Let's take that Gemara first. He says we learn Oimid B'Tzad Tzodeu from Shikra. That, you're standing by your field, and something's crossing your field, so I want my field to be kainet. Say it's kainet. We learn that from Shikra. What's the law by Shikra? Shikra is that the din is if the balabos did not forget about it, but the workers forgot about it. So if he's oimid b'tzad tzodeu, so it's his. If he's not oimid b'tzad tzodeu, then it's lost. So I asked the kasha, it's his field, and he didn't make any shikra. So why did? And he didn't forget. So why does he lose it? Just because he's not there, right? So you see a new halacha in matnas aniyim. It's not that it's my field, because if it's my field, then whatever is in my field, as long as I wasn't miyayish from it, wasn't anything, it's mine, right? It's not. I have a right to take first from it. I took, and I forgot something, so now it's the oni comes and takes it. Now, why? But I only forgot. I didn't really forget. I remembered the whole time. Okay, if you're there to be koined again before the oni gets there, you can do that. But once not, the oni's keach came into play. So it's never my field. It's not shall I own the field. Okay, you see the same thing in Daf Yud. That what was the machlikas over there? If by payer, if one oni can say, my dalana should be kind for me, or I should be kind for him, and what do you call it? It's machlekes, because it's my field. It's not hefker. It's my field. So your dalamas don't help my field. It's either the shusarabim they help in those places, but don't help in my field. Okay. So he says. So you see that one man b'yom it's not your field. Once you took your stuff out, now it's paid. Now it's the onis. Now, once it's the onis, they can be cut with dalamas and stuff like that. If you do pay it that way, the pshat is to say like that I'm makir that everything's min hashemayim and it's not mine, it's God's, and it's a new matona every time. So then it's ki'ilu, the Beis HaMikdash, you didn't have a Beis HaMikdash, you built it, and now you bring korbanos, because that's the whole point of the korbanos, to know who the giver is, and stuff like that. So that's the point of it. But the question is, how do you do it? How does he say it? That I don't know. Okay, then he goes weiter. He does all the korbanos, and he comes to Sukkot. Sukkot he does here. The only time you have Esrig Lulav is here, and that's why you sit in the Sukkot. Mantei the Seichem, and it's only in Emor, in the Parshas Sukkot is the thing though. It's very interesting. And the thing over there. What you have to understand is the other way. That Shmini Atzeres, we read the Asa Tasa. Right? The Kasha is why he did. In Re'eh, it doesn't say at all the inyan of Yom HaShmini. Doesn't end Yom HaShmini. Here you have Yom HaShmini. But in Re'eh, there's no Yom HaShmini. So why are we reading Yom HaShmini? So it said because Oinus Maisrus. That's the Rayas, because of Oinus Maisrus. That's the only reason I'm reading it. Not because it has to do with Yontav, with Shmini Atzeres. Nothing to do with Shmini Atzeres. We have the time of Maisa. So we read Asa Tasa. That's the point of the thing. Okay. And everybody, somehow, Targum and all the other guys, Rashi, don't mention Rabbi Akiva here of Sukkos Mamish. Because even in Sukkos Mamish, the only thing that we're remembering on Sukkos is that the Sukkos is Shafti, split over the Anani HaKovit. It's the only thing we remember. Because they show that the Rebbeinu Shalom has full control to control us and take care of us and all the other things there. So once the Rebbeinu Shalom is doing that, we don't have anybody else. That's why and that even if we sit in a flimsy house, if it was an emissary, I sat you there, without the Rebbeinu Shalom's protection, it's not very good. No one lives in a hut if there's gangsters around. So I'm saying, so you lock the door. Right? You don't have such a thing. Okay. Then you have Shem Zay Zoch, that it's really the mitzvah is here. Over there it's only mentioned because of the fact that the Moshe Rabbeinu was ma'or a little bit, that you don't want to take him down Flishtim. So why? Because people have a kasha, how come and go? So what are you going to do if they'll see a war and they'll have to go around there with Flishtim? So that's where you have to take them a different way. So you have Lechem Aponim, and then okay. Then you have a story. And this story There's an interesting story. Okay. Who is this guy, this Ben Ish Mitzri? The Ben Ish Mitzri is not a particular guy. I think to a certain extent he must have been a tzaddik. He was Doson's stepson. Not even Doson's stepson. Or, I don't know how would you call such a son. That's my, it's not the thing there. The Mitzri that was beating up that Yid that Moshe Rabbeinu kills was beating up Doson, says. Doson was married to Shlomis Bas Divri. That was his wife. So, what do you call it? Okay, that's the story. So when they came to Maisa with Korach, he didn't die. Because he didn't go out on the side of what do you call it, of Korach. He wasn't with Doson. He was, what do you call it? He's independent or whatever it is there, so he didn't go with Doson. So it seems to be he was a pretty good guy. And Rashi says, why did he become a Rosh? Why did he curse? Because he went to a Din Torah. He felt, what did he do? Okay, these are, I guess we can learn the tragedies of people that he needed a place, where do I belong? So he took his tent and he put it b'shevet don. And he was very logical. If I don't count after my father, because my father's a goy, I count after my mother. So my mother comes from Shevet Don. The only reason we go after the father is it's told we go after the father. But if it didn't be a case of going after the father, we go after the mother. So I should be going Don. And the Israeli said, you don't belong here at all. And the Israeli won. And they went and asked Moshe, and Moshe also paskin that way, that thing there. Why? He's doch right. If I don't have so I tell you why he's not right is because she was married to Doson. That means her kids are not anymore to Shevet Don. Her kids belong to Shevet Reuven, if she had kids. Right? That's how they belong to Shevet Reuven. So therefore it can only be Shevet Reuven or a goy. But it has no shaykhs to Don. So therefore when you came to Don, she's not the shevet of your mother anymore. Your mother now is your mother has no shevet once she got married. She's now a conduit for shevet Reuven, but she has nothing to do with shevet Don. She's out of shevet Don. So therefore, there was no thing like that. The taki would be if she wasn't married, maybe she be a guy without a taina. Okay, so he whatever he cracked. So they put him in jail. They have to do now they have to know what to do with him, right? So the Rebbeinu says, "I want you to take him out and kill him," right? That's it. And he says, "Ish gav okay." If you kill a person, can't be maki behema, yishamena, and he repeats it again a second time. And Shiva asks, what has this got to do with killing the Mikhail? All he had to do is say, take out and kill him. We have by the government, what's his name, they took the collective woods. So there it just tells him, kill him, and they took him out and they killed him. Then what he told me all this thing about Mike Odom and this thing. So Shiva said a very big yisod. He said, you're going to pass on a shayla. And how serious do you have to take a thing in there? They used to say, I remember I saw this in the subway session years ago, that how do you make not how do you make it? When did he kill a guy in a court martial depends on how painless or whatever it is the commanding general is. If he happens to have a stomach trouble that day, the guy's dead. If he happens to be in a good mood, the guy will be alive. In other words, it has nothing to do with justice in the sense of what he called. That's not the way we're supposed to think about it. I want you to think that killing a person, you chayv misa for. And you're going to kill a person now for doing an avera. So how do you just kill him? It's such a big thing. I can't kill him. You know, it's chayv misa, such a thing. You have the liberals claim it. It's murder by the law. When the law's it's legal murder. That's what, putting a person to death. Because what gives you the shit to put a person to death? I mean, so death, murder is a chayv misa thing. So it's a terrible thing. So that's what he's trying to teach you. Before you paskin the shaila, think about what paskin a shaila means and what it means when someone did an avera. You think that it's chayv misa. Okay, it's chayv misa. I got to give him misa. But do I do it because I'm in a bad mood, or I do it because he's chayv misa and I can't do anything about it? I'd love to save him, but I can't. The koshish he didn't have to mention. He mentions it here, but I'm just saying. But I guess you'll mention it one place. Why did he pick here to mention it, not by the Mekoshish? This maybe happened a lot, maybe early before the Mekoshish, maybe. I don't know if it didn't. Mekoshish is supposed to be also about Shabbos. And when was the mice of Kairach? Just before, right after the Meraglim. So it was pretty fast. That was, they weren't going, once they were nigzer not to go to Eretz Yisrael, that's when he became a shugim Kairach over there. Yeah, that's what you said over there. Yeah. Now, I guess here's the place to talk about Haschus, I guess. Rashi brings down that there was only one Zoym in Klal Yisrael, and the Torah is Mefarsim of a name, and that was the Shlemus Bas Divri. Why? Why was she different than anybody else? Should have been like a former Beis Yaakov girl. Why are you picking up a girl? But then she was. She's a regular Beis Yaakov girl. But the problem, it's how you handle the problem. Why we were called, that they were Nememta Shari Tuma. We definitely were not Nememta Shari Tuma. We didn't kill, so Memches. We didn't do znus, it's Memzayin. But why we say we're Mem Teshari Truma? I mean, you're definitely two we weren't in. I mean, I say because they handled the problems by themselves. They didn't have a Masoicha how to handle the problem. And how did she land up in her problem? What was the Maisa? Why was he beating him up? Because he wanted to be Mizana with Shleimus, the Mitzri. Or he was already. They wanted to continue it. They wanted to kill him. I would say, the hard hats, construction guys. They always have the guys who are whistling at girls, or you're calling out learning words and stuff like that. Those are the guys they picture. Not a yochid standing somewhere. But construction workers. I don't know why they pick on construction workers, but they pick on construction. And that's what he does. So she comes out, and they're constructing over there. And they started calling her names, or whatever it is, which is very embarrassing. So normally what do? I don't go there anymore. Or I don't walk out of my house. I don't know what I do. Whatever it is, I'm too embarrassed. She decided I'm going to make them my friends. And then they won't insult me. So she brought out coffee the next morning. Does anybody like coffee? And stuff like that. So now the guy thinks, why is she bringing out coffee? We just insulted her yesterday. So he's probably trying to start up with us. And stuff like that. So he got the machshava. And then he came today. He thought that was the thing. And really wasn't. He fooled her by night. She didn't see. She thought he was doesn't. Wasn't that they were saying that she was also talking with doesn't. She wasn't also to him. And because she didn't have kavanah for of a Maisa's Muslim place. So that's we call it a bad thing. That we mentioned that accidents don't happen either. Accidents happen only because you screw up. Doesn't happen as an accident. You don't get rapes like this. Now, years ago, that used to be the odds of the court. That they felt that if a woman got raped, it's her fault. Now we say it's not her fault. What are you picking for a victim? Because the way she dresses, the way she does, right? So they had a different hasogya of what you're supposed to do. Because we're liberal, you can dress any way you want. You got to keep your hands to yourself. So we blame the man. Over there, the shot is the girl is the one that's enticing. If you got to eat so hard because he sees the way she's dressed, so it's the girl's fault. That was the difference in how they used to make a cheshbon once upon a time. Good Shabbos, everybody.